Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Major League Baseball getting underway this week, Sean. The new season opening day. And if as you listen along, if you're with us live and you want to give your thoughts on how you think the MLB season is going to play out, feel free to do that. Also, make sure you go to whatamaneuver.net and grab some Huddle Up merchandise. We'd appreciate that as well. So let's start here. Let's just go through the divisions, Sean, and we'll start in the American League. We'll give our predictions for the 3 division winners. We'll give our prediction for the 2 wild card teams. I believe
I've just made like 6 changes to my list, so I'm ready to go.
I believe they're back to the normal format this year with the
as of now, as far as I can tell, it's 3 division winners, 2 wild cards playing.
Okay, that's what I thought. I thought they were back to normal. Last year they did the additional ones.
Leave it up to the bargaining agreement in another year to decide if they're changing that.
Yeah, no doubt. So let's start in the AL East, and then I also want to do when we go through each league, do like a surprise team. Well, now whether it's a good surprise or bad surprise, you can leave that up to your discretion.
Sure.
But for me, I look at the AL East and I go back to what happened last year, and I just I don't see this not going, unfortunately. And this
can it be like my surprise team's the Pirates because they're actually going to be worse than you think. Something like that.
I just don't.
Wins.
I know I know that I know Tampa won the East last year, but I think the Yankees did enough in the offseason, and I think, as much as I hate to say it, I think this is going to be the Yankees division to lose. So for me, I have the New York Yankees taking the East. I hate it. I almost want to vomit saying it, but it is what it is.
Well, to be fair, I think you're probably, a lot of people still high on the Rays there, and being in Tampa, a part of me just to watch this cruel Tampa Bay nonsense continue, wanted to put the Rays in there, but I just don't see it. I have no reason not to pick the Yankees there, and it was just like, I think the Red Sox could surprise in that division. I think they've made some kind of changes and stuff, but yeah, what are you gonna do? It's your team. It's your team's division, but your team's not going to challenge for it. Like, what are you gonna do? It's frustrating.
They're not going to challenge for 4th out of 5, Sean.
It's like we could get 4th. We could get 4th.
No,
it's pretty good.
But right now, Orioles in first place because Baltimore alphabetically is the highest.
There you go. How about that?
Always starting first.
Yeah. How about that? Anyway, so are we just picking the AL East? Is that where you're at?
We'll go division. Right, we'll go division by division. So we'll
so AL East. I'm with you. I have the Yankees winning that division. I'm not sure it's close. Couldn't take the Rays, and as we go down future wise, I actually don't even have the Rays in my wild card. If you want a preview of my wild card situation,
I do not either.
Yeah, I don't know. You lose Blake Snell, and there's a lot of talent on the Rays team, and if the Rays win the East, I'm not going to be surprised. If the Rays are a wild card, I'm not going to be that surprised. But in my little selection here, I don't have them. But I take the Yankees to win the AL East.
Yeah, then I go to the AL Central, and I'm going to go just kind of a repeater of a year ago, and I'm going to look at the Minnesota Twins. They won in a tight AL Central race a year ago, and I have no reason to believe that this team hasn't gotten better. I think that you're going to see them come out and continue to just play some good baseball. They had one of the better run differentials in the American League last year. Looking down over it, third best in terms of actually second best in terms of run differential a year ago. So kind of keep that train rolling in Minnesota. I like the Twins to come out of the Central here.
Crap, here we go. I thought I was taking kind of a stretch here. Looking at over a lot of the predictions. I was kind of doing some research, looking at Sports Illustrated and Yahoo and NBC and CBS, and it seems like a lot of folks hot on the White Sox. White Sox here, White Sox there. I'm seeing not only the White Sox but the Indians. I do like the Indians. As a whole, or are they calling themselves the Indians? Did they change that?
This is the final year that they are called the Indians. Now they don't.
Okay, so they're still the Indians. Because as I was reading the articles, I'm like, how old are these articles?
They're still the Indians. They are not using any of like the old Chief Wahoo logos. That has been retired. This will be the final season of the Indians.
See, they really had an opportunity to sell a sponsor. That could have been Chief Yahoo. You get the sponsor there. You're kind of the hub for fantasy baseball.
If they don't come up with
I kind of feel like a Yahoo.
If they don't come up with a new identity, name, branding by next year, then they will probably go something similar along the way of like the Cleveland Baseball Club or something.
Good Lord.
Because as we've seen with Washington,
let's just do that for all the teams. Screw mascots.
Screw mascots. Baltimore or Cleveland today.
Yeah, you got a Baltimore-Cleveland baseball matchup.
But I think it's just there's a lot of reading with the Washington situation and why they're still going to be the football team this year. Is there's actually a lot more in the way of like trademarking and sketching and first draft, second draft.
Because Dan Snyder's an idiot.
100th draft. Well, I mean,
like how do you consistently have a racist mascot team name?
I mean,
and not have like trademarks banked on like backup names.
Well, I mean,
I had that ahead of time.
He should have. But I don't think
at some point we're gonna get.
I don't think Dan Snyder ever thought that his hand was going to be forced. I think he literally thought that he was just going to continue to be able to operate.
I thought you were going to say, I don't think Dan Snyder thought he'd have his job this long.
Well, that too. But they are still the Indians this year. But it is just the.
But I saw a lot of people high them. But I also I took them last year, and they did well for me in the predictions last year. I like Minnesota's pitching. And I like everything about that lineup. They didn't make a lot of changes, but I don't think they needed to. And I just don't see any. There's certain clubs that I look at like both sides of it, like defensively and pitching wise and offensive. Like who's the most stable team? I'm gonna pick that. The most stable. The Twins just seem to be there. The Yankees are always a good bet to be because they pay good money for it.
Sure do.
The Twins do it a very different way, but they're doing it the right way. And I'm with you. So far, we're 2 for 2, but I think we're going to start to differ here coming up.
Possibly. Then we go out west, and not to just lather, rinse, repeat what I said for the Central, but I look at an A's team that was pretty much the dominant force in the AL West, and I don't think the Rangers are any better. I don't think the Angels are getting any younger or better. Seattle, same kind of story. So now you're down to Oakland and Houston, but when you had run differential of plus 42 compared to 4. This is an A's team that just almost reminded me a little bit sans steroids of the monster A's teams of the late 80s, early 90s. And I think they're just going to continue to roll. They're going to roll year to year. I like the A's coming out of the West again, Sean.
Yeah, I think I was pretty high on the A's last year, and I just I wasn't feeling it. I just, something about it, like maybe it was kind of a flash in the pan, kind of let's flip it around. I'm going with kind of a revamped pitching staff in Houston. I'm taking the other side of your coin there. I think and that lineup's too good to do as poorly as they did last year again. They were hot enough, looked like they were going to kind of catch the A's for a while, and then the season just kind of, I don't know if they ran out of time. I don't know if time ran out of them, and I don't know if they were waiting for a trash can. Who knows what was going on? But trash cans or not, scandal or not, the Astros have a phenomenal lineup top to bottom, and their pitching staff is revamped. It's gotten younger. I like everything Houston. And it's kind of one of those ones where like a lot of places I'm looking, they're not favored super high on a list of teams to make the playoffs. they're kind of in that like plus 150 to 200 range. If you're a betting human being, putting your money on the Astros is not a bad play. I'm going to take them to win the West.
All right, very good. Then we look at the wild card again this year. Back to just 2 wild card teams. Your wild card teams from a year ago. I mean, the 2 wild card teams were Toronto and the White Sox, but you had Houston, Cleveland, and the Yankees making it as the second place team with the expanded playoffs a year ago. I'm going to go with my 2 wild card teams. They're a team that you talked about that was pretty dominant in the Central, the Cleveland Indians. I think they're going to be in that dogfight with the Twins for number 1. So I think they're going to be your top wild card team, your home club for that playing game, which, as we get later in the baseball season, be sure to talk about. I never like a play-in game in baseball. I would like to see a 3-game series.
I'm with you. I've been pushing.
Your whole sport is based off a series.
I'm a very close friend of the Major League Baseball front office. Very close friends with a lot of them.
Well, we had
an
MLB. We had a guy from the MLB Network. I don't know how much that means. We're close to the front office.
Major League Baseball Productions, and maybe he's my in guy. But I'm just trying to pass through, get rid of this 1-game play-in nonsense. Especially when you're talking about pitching. You try to sell pitching matchups, and then in the second round, one team doesn't have their ace available till game 3.
It's just
get the heck out of here. 3-game series, reset, win 2 out of 3, all the pitching resets, play a fair series in the next round. That's all I have to say. But yes, finish that point.
Cleveland's my 1, and I like a team that made the playoffs out of the East. I think they're still playing in Buffalo this year. The Blue Jays. The old Buffalo Jays,
Blue Jays.
Wherever they're calling home this year, at least until the border opens up, if it ever does. The Toronto Buffalo Blue Jays, I like them. Who would have
thought with Major League Baseball kicking off here to start the month of April that by the end of April the Blue Jays could already have more wins than the Buffalo Sabres?
Yeah, seriously.
The middle of April, they could probably have more wins.
I would say by the end of this weekend, but you only play 3 games in a weekend.
They sweep their openings.
You're going to be halfway there.
Halfway there.
But I like Toronto. I like the Blue Jays as my second wild card team.
Yeah, God, I hate predicting baseball. There's just so many teams and so few spots. I feel like when you're predicting the NFL or hockey, like you kind of get to you're kind of like, well, it's half the league. I kind of know where the cream rises and where all these teams that you're picking are all in the cream side of I don't know. So it's very frustrating. And I had the A's penciled in as a wild card, and I kept reading and I like what the Angels are doing. You think they're too old? I don't. I have the Angels getting in to my wild card. They're going to be on the road, however. The Angels are your second wild card. They're going to be traveling to everybody's presumable central winner. I think the Chicago White Sox. I do like what they're doing. I like their ability to kind of pass the Indians this year. I think that central. My fear with the White Sox, taking a central team like you did, is I feel like with us both liking the Indians, both liking the Twins.
One of them is screwed.
That they're probably both out and the White Sox are in. That's probably what's going to happen.
The price
is the White Sox are because there's a chance that the 3 of them and the rest of that Central, it's a very good division of baseball.
It's probably one of the tighter divisions.
You might not get 2 teams.
Right.
So we might just be screwing ourselves. It's more realistic to think that the Yankees pull away and the Blue Jays is probably a good pick. But I'm going to take the White Sox hosting the Angels for my wild card round.
All right, very good. I did look it up. To start the year, at least the Blue Jays' first 2 homestands will be played at their spring training home, TD Ballpark in Dunedin, Florida. Is that
Dunedin?
Dunedin, Florida.
The Dunedin Blue Jays. Yes.
So that's
nice stadium. I've driven by it. I haven't been there.
That's where they're starting the year for at least their first couple home series. Now they're
looking to see a major league game. You want a cool town to hang out in. I'll tell you this: Dunedin's a hip town. Just kind of a First of all, very LGBTQ friendly, but just tons of breweries, eateries, bars,
So
things like that.
they
And
start
they're all open because there's no COVID in Florida.
they start the year
Zero COVID.
Their first 2 series are on the road, then they have 2 home series, then they have 3 series on the road. So they wouldn't be back home in Dunedin, Florida until the end of April after their first 2 home series.
Where you're looking at it, who do they host in their first 2?
They host let me pull it back here because I was looking
Be kind of cool to see a actual major league game here.
The 8th, 9th, 10th, 11th, they host the Angels. The 12th, 13th, 14th,
Sweet.
They host the Yankees. So if you want to get to one, I'd go to that New York series.
That's gonna be packed.
It's gonna be packed. It's gonna be, and it's gonna be COVID people from Florida, from New York, are probably gonna fly down too. So,
they're all here.
Well, that's true. But there's a possibility they could return home to Toronto. The team is also considering playing a portion of their home schedule in Buffalo at Sahlen Field, which is where they played last season. Once we get out of this late winter, early spring weather in Buffalo. So those are my wild card teams.
Imagine the pain of Mike Trout and the Angels. It's like, hey, I got to change of plans, guys.
You're
not
going
going
to
to
Buffalo.
fly to Toronto. You're flying to Tampa Bay, Florida.
Okay.
Be like, oh, bummer. You know, like, crap. I was really looking forward to.
And then,
Toronto.
Sean, my surprise team, and this one's gonna go
in the American League.
In the American League, and I'm gonna go like in a bad way. A team that went all the way to the World Series a year ago.
Oh no!
And I think the bottom's gonna fall out of Tampa, and I feel like it's that small market team. You know, at some point they're just gonna sell them off and blow the whole thing up, and because that's kind of the story in baseball. We saw with the Orioles, you know what, a decade ago, Pirates started to rebuild. Then you sell everything off. Royals the same way. I just think it's hard for some of these smaller teams to stay near the top. I think the bottom's going to fall out of Tampa. I think Tampa's going to be a surprise, but in a bad way, for the 613 people that are regular fans at the Trop.
Yeah, I'm not going to go there because I think I may have undersold the Rays. First of all, the Rays did not lose very many pieces, and a ton of their talent comes from an international pool. And you got guys like Choi and you know, but you're seeing it now. Like, you know, people are concerned about like the injury to Choi and like how long is that going to be? And you know, one of the troubles you do run into as a smaller market, it's not necessarily landing and finding that talent. It's like if something goes wrong, who fills in? And I see a very realistic situation. Obviously, in my picks, I didn't have them in there. Rays lineup's real good. Pitching staff's still good. They probably got rid of Snell at a good time. I feel like Snell's career is going to start to wind down. I still don't think it's a bad play for the Padres. They don't need him to be their ace. But you know, for them to land a guy like Snell, I don't feel like the Rays probably couldn't pay him, but the Rays didn't need to. But if I'm going to go for a surprise in the AL, I mean, I guess, you know, pulling for the Astros there, it's weird to say a team with that lineup is my surprise. I don't really have a negative surprise in the AL, and you know, I mean, I guess I could say the A's not making it. Maybe I'll take the A's. You take the Rays, I'll take the A's.
All right.
I'll take the A's missing the playoffs. I think a lot of people are kind of with you. I think a lot of people like the A's. I like the A's. I just think that West is too talented. I think the Angels are going to hang on. I think I like their pitching staff. I like the lineup, and I think it's just going to be the Angels' year, especially with a lot else going on in California. Maybe the 2 LA teams, you get that possible Dodgers-Angels World Series. It's not going to happen, by the way. That's not in my predictions. But yeah, I maybe the A's missing or the Astros getting in. Either way, that AL West is where your surprise is for me, because I think a lot of people that think the Astros are just done. I think people just forgot Houston, how good they are. They're like, they cheated. They can't. They're not even good. No, they're really good.
No, they're good. I'm not going to deny
real
it.
good.
Yeah.
Like, it's just baffling. It's kind of like when the Patriots used to get caught cheating, and you're like, but you're good. Like, why are you filming the Jets for? You know.
Well, and again,
like
I mean, the
but anytime you can get an advantage and hold your job.
But the Patriot the whole Patriots, like, the filming thing isn't quite the same as like because like the filming isn't the illegal
less
part.
Player involvement.
Well, and it's like the filming part wasn't even like filming isn't illegal. It's like from where and when they did it that was the illegal part. You're like,
right? Like, what are you doing? Why are you filming a Jets practice?
But like, I mean, that sort of like filming is done weekly in the NFL. But anyway. Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order? Let's go to National League here. Let's start in the East. And from a year ago to now, I don't see the Marlins having a repeater of the season that took them to second place in the East. And I think a lot of people are probably going to look at the Braves and say, this is a team that's just going to come back and repeat and do the things they need to do. But I'm looking at a team close here to Central Pennsylvania that I think, you have another year with this coaching staff. You got to figure the pitching out, and I think they do. That was your biggest problem a year ago, is you just couldn't hold on to leads. You just gave up. You gave up run after run after run after run when you get into the bullpen. So you have to manage your game a little bit better. I think they're going to do that. I actually like the Philadelphia Phillies to win a tight NL East.
Get out of town.
A tight NL East race this year, but I like the Phillies.
Baffling. I'd like to point out that 2 of our last 4 spring training games, we have blown 5 or more run leads in the second half of the game. I'd like to throw that out there. Blew one in Dunedin to the Blue Jays. Took a 5-run lead into the 8th in Dunedin.
So
5 runs.
So should I change my pick? Are you telling me to change my pick?
No, I'd very much like you to have them. I don't. It took a lot for me to not take the Phillies. I like to take the home. Obviously, I took the Flyers in the NHL. It's not looking real great right now. And I wanted to take the Phillies real bad. What baffled me is how many people put their name on a printed publication taking the New York Mets to win anything. Don't get me wrong, a very talented club. They've made a lot of changes. It's the Mets. It's a team that just proverbially, it would be like the Orioles, like, hey, we actually spent $100 million. I'm still not going to bet on you.
Stupid idiot.
Yeah, you stupid idiot.
You
but like
disrespectful, stupid idiot.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Point said. But there are a ton of people out there, professional sports writers. I think people should just put their job on the line. There's a lot of sports writers that don't have work. I think if you're going to make your prediction and you're like, take the Mets, and people, are you sure? To just be like, I'll bet my job on it. Bet your job on the Mets. They're like, I'm not going to do that.
Are you sure about that?
The the Mets manager wouldn't bet their job on the Mets.
No.
Because it's illegal in Major League Baseball, and I don't condone that. But I'm going to take I have the Braves. I'm the guy that you said, the repeating, and I wanted to take the Phillies over them. I just think when you go top to bottom, the Braves are right now a better organization. The Phillies aren't where I want them to be. Also, reading these, I found that the Phillies are the longest National League drought for getting to the playoffs. That's bad. That can't be right. Well, I guess the Pirates made it more recently. They had that one fluke year. I was like, how did the Pirates? But they had one. But I did read that somebody said, yep, the Phillies' NL's longest playoff drought continues.
When did the Diamondbacks? Really? No, I guess the Diamondbacks did make it a couple of years ago.
That's what I said. I'm like, there's only 5 teams that get in.
I'm shocked to know that the Diamondbacks, the Rockies
are actually buying in. But I did read one writer was like, the longest drought in the NL.
Because the Brewers
continues.
were good a couple years ago, but I'd be shocked that the Reds.
I know they're not talking about a World Series drought.
No, just playoffs. But Reds, Pirates, Rockies, Diamondbacks, Mets have all made it more recently than the Philadelphia Phillies.
Well, then we clearly are.
That's surprising to me, but all the more reason for the Phillies to win this year.
But yeah, I'm gonna take the Braves, I guess, reluctantly. I hope I'm wrong. I hope the Phillies do win, but I'm gonna take the Braves.
All right, then we go to the Central, and you know, probably one of the best divisions at the top. I mean, obviously you have the Pirates, but like, you know, you have 4 teams that were right at or above 500. Cubs won it last year. Cardinals and Reds were just a couple of games back.
By the way, I also predicted the Cubs last year. Just throwing that out there. Of course, I also had them winning the World Series. So
yeah, I have the Cardinals actually getting the better of the Cubs this year. You know, they just kind of seem to be. It always just kind of seems to be between those two. Flip a coin. Cardinals are going to take it this year.
I'm with you. I also have the St. Louis Cardinals. And I kind of just was like 2 great sports cities. Which one do I think is a better sports city? I think St. Louis is a better sports city in general. And the Cardinals just I've always kind of compared, like when I talk about it's not the cities, but like the St. Louis Cardinals to me feel kind of like up until the last few years, the Denver Broncos of the NFL, where like for years it was like no matter who was quarterbacking, no matter who was coach, after Shanahan, the Broncos just for years, for like a decade and a half, put like a consistently good product on the football field. And I just feel that's what St. Louis does. The Cardinals, I can always trust them. I feel like the Cardinals, safe bet. Even if I miss, it's not going to be by much. They're gonna win 2/3 of their games and probably be right in the thick of it come October. So I'm with you. I'm gonna take the St. Louis Cardinals.
All right, very good. Then we go out west, and obviously the home of the World Series champion from a year ago, the LA Dodgers, and then a Padres team that was absolutely spectacular. So, like, I talked about run differential, Sean, in the American League. So
in the NL West.
So the best team in the American League last year in terms of run differential was Tampa Bay Rays at +60.
Yeah, I knew that because like the radio down here talks about
Minnesota. The White Sox were also +60. Minnesota +54. Oakland won the West +42.
But +60 is your AL mark.
AL mark. So the winner of the Central last year was the Cubs. Again, I talked tight division. They were at a +25. The Atlanta Braves were the only plus differential team in the East. They were +60. So they tied the AL mark. Then you go out west.
Well, playing the Marlins and the Phillies
help
a lot.
And the other team. But San Diego Padres, the second place team in the NL West a year ago, +84. So they were 24 better than everybody else.
They could literally play in any other division in baseball.
And score more runs. The Los Angeles Dodgers, Sean, +136. So they were more than double the best of everyone else. Not quite double their closest competition.
Well, they had that one game where they won 500-4. That helped a lot.
My God, they scored 349 runs.
Took 4 days to end. They scored 500 runs.
349 runs scored, only 213 given up. But I think the Padres did the best work in the offseason this year. They didn't have to do a lot, but they somehow made a great team even better. I actually like the Padres to win by like one game. This may even be a play-in game to win the West. But I like the Padres to win a very, very tight.
You have a potential play-in game
before play-in games.
Before the loser has to play another.
Correct.
Then your playoffs are really messed up.
And it's happened. And it's happened.
You know. Well, as you know, our MLB tie-in, my buddy Justin Daniels, who I'm gonna assume is going to listen to our show at some point.
As he should.
Big Dodgers fan. He's going to be very excited for baseball. Obviously, big baseball guy. He also has his first child is on the way. Has a has a baseball glove already purchased for him. Really cool, really awesome for him and his lady to have that coming on. So not too long after I welcome in child number 2, he will be welcoming in child number 1. So first of all, props and congrats to Justin Daniels. But to really screw up his day, I'm going with you. I'm taking the San Diego Padres. I think it's the best infield in baseball. I don't think it's even close.
They're in brown and yellow again. Gotta love it.
Yeah, and it's great. I get rid of that stupid. Get me in the brown. That's what I think. Padres. You're. First of all, why aren't there any monks out there speaking out about the defamation? Let's get that name changed. The San Diego Padres. Maybe the Whales. I've seen Anchorman. Maybe the San Diego Whales. Anyway, I too take the Padres. I think the addition of Blake Snell is interesting. It's just one more former Cy Young winner. I think the Padres were like, you know what? If you could spend money, so can we. And to be honest, do I think they've spent money better than the Dodgers? No, because the Dodgers spent more. But have they gotten better value for a little less money? Yes, and I think the Padres pull this off. I don't think it's as close. I think the Dodgers are kind of like hanging in there, and I think it changes as the year goes. But I think as the season ends, you're going to see the Padres kind of pull away by a handful of games and just win the West. So I'm with you. Sorry, Justin. Congrats on the kid, but your team's not winning the West.
Don't apologize. He watched his team win the World Series.
On the field.
On the field. So don't apologize to him.
You know what? F you, Justin Daniels. Don't worry. I've said that to him before.
I don't doubt that. The 2 wild card teams, I'm going to go with those LA Dodgers to be the top team. I think they're going to lose.
Preview, so am I.
Potentially lose that play-in game to the Padres, but then host their own play-in game, and I think they're going to host the Chicago Cubs. I think it's just it's that story of those 2 tight divisions.
I do like the Cubs.
I think the Braves are just going to be just slightly off the mark behind the Cubs for that second wild card spot. Again, I think that the National League is the better
Cubs
league.
Win. Cubs
Hey,
win. Hey.
I think the National League is the better league. I think you're gonna have a lot more top to bottom. Like there may be even just best team versus best team, but I think that the competition.
I mean, both of them have a floor. We have the
certainly.
Orioles in the American League with the Pirates in the National League. I don't think that floor changes, by the way.
No.
I'm just throwing that out there.
No.
If that floor is still the floor, you build on the floor and
you're solid if you always want to build your house on solid foundation. Orioles and Pirates.
Those two very solid.
Solid foundation. They know exactly where they are. But I like
yeah, because if you're building on a good foundation, you want the foundation to never go anywhere.
Yeah, they do not. They do not. That's their home
awesome,
base.
Though. We'll call the combination of the Orioles and the Pirates. That's the foundation.
But like I said, Cubs are my second wild card team in the NL.
Yeah, and you build that foundation. So you're saying if we're going with the house analogy, the NL just has a lot more support in the rafters, up in the attic, just a lot more roof support.
Yeah. The American League might be
who's going to be the chimney. It's hard to be who's going to be on the outside of that roof, but there's a lot of support beams. I would agree. The American League house, be wary of collapsing roofs. You want to make sure you kind of have some space in the outside to maybe set up a tent in case your house collapses. But you're right. In the AL, I felt the AL was way easier. I had that filled in really fast. The AL West being the only, because between Astros, A's, Angels, I had a really hard time. In the NL, probably not the best pick. I feel like I should go somewhere in the Central with the Cubs. Or anything like that. I have the Dodgers with you as my first wild card team hosting this playing game. And I have my Philadelphia Phillies. I wrote them in. I don't really have a lot of reasons why. I don't think the bullpen's going to be that much better. But what I think is going to be is you're going to see improvements. The offense is going to click. You made the right move in paying Real Muto. And I think that the team is going to be excited about that. They've kind of rallied around it. Harper looks hot coming out of spring training. He's crushing the ball.
Now is that his like his playing, or he's just he's just too sexy, or both,
Too sexy. No, too sexy.
or a little bit of both.
A little bit of both. Got that good beard going on.
Got the
Always
headband,
embracing Gritty and the Fanatic. And I love everything about
the
Bryce.
clear Wooder shirt.
Oh, I think Bryce Harper has embraced Philadelphia. I think there were people that are like, why are we paying Bryce? Like, what has happened? I think Bryce Harper was waiting for the day that he could play in Philadelphia. I think we overpaid for him. I think we could have gotten him at a pay cut. That's not really true, but I think he's fit in. He loves being the center of attention. I think he loves it even when he stinks. He was the one that was like, yeah, I'm the first one to tell you I suck right now. So they're not wrong. I think he's really embraced that, like, when they're booing him, it's because he deserves it. And when he's red hot, he's going to love playing there.
Or at least he's smart enough.
No in between.
Or at least he's smart enough not to, like, speak out against the fans booing.
No, whatever it is, he gets it. I mean, Lord knows he played like a fifth or a sixth of his games there.
Like, even if he goes home and is like, man, these fucking people. But he's smart enough to know his base.
Yeah, well, he's played in Philly. He's followed Philly media. It's
Sure.
not like he was playing that far away in Washington. He understands what goes on.
Yeah.
And somebody who's that good and that smart understands that, like, if they're paying me this much money in Philadelphia, there's no in between. I'm either in their good graces or go F yourself.
Yeah, and that is what it is.
You know, you're going to get paid. That's it. But I think the Phillies are going to be a team that makes some moves during the season. I think things are going to go unexpectedly well early, and they're going to find themselves in that kind of scenario where it's like, you know, if we had some pieces, and when you have those kind of latter half of the, you know, before the trade deadline, people looking to unload some guys like, you know, people the Orioles were for years with Machado. I feel like they're going to find one of those. Maybe it's a closer. Maybe it's another lineup guy. Maybe it's to fill an injury, whatever the situation is. I think they're going to find it. I think they're going to get even hotter in the second half, and I'm going to put the Phillies playing the Dodgers. And Justin, we're going to kill you.
There you go. And my surprise in the National League, and it shouldn't be that hard to figure out when you're talking about a team that's going to go from third in their division to winning the division and bettering, bettering themselves over the Braves. A team that was -5 in run differential, and you know, if they're going to do this, then they have to improve that
I feel
bullpen.
like at that -5, like, it didn't always feel like they were going to be at minus. Like, I feel like a lot of the games I watched last year, like,
it's because they would go from like 8-run leads to 2-run losses, so they weren't getting blown out, but they were giving up 6-7 runs when they get into their bullpen. So if they're going to do this, then they have to improve their pitching, and to me, that's going to be the surprise. If the Phillies can take that third place finish from a year ago and turn it into a first place, division winning team, that has to be your biggest surprise in the NL.
I'd say so. I think obviously if my predictions are going to hold, now I took the Phillies more as a homer. If I was looking this neutrally, would I put the Phillies in my wild card? Probably not. But I can't do a prediction show and not put my Philadelphia team in there, and I don't think it's an unrealistic expectation. It's gonna take some work to get there. So they would be my obvious with you surprise. But I'm gonna go in the East. I'm gonna stay in the East and say my true surprise is gonna be the Miami Marlins. And they are not going to challenge for the wild card. They're not going to be a team that the Phillies are trying to bat away with a stick to get in there. They're not going to quite be there. But what you're going to see the Miami Marlins do is get off the floor. The foundation we mentioned earlier, I think for a little while here, people just assume the Marlins are going to be a part of that foundation. And I think the Marlins are going to get themselves to the top half of that first floor. I think they're going to be up on the staircase. They're going to be trying to decide if they're going to climb to the roof or not. They're probably not going to get there for several years, but they have some talent in the infield. I like some of the hitting I've seen in spring training, and they have one of the prospects I was really looking forward to playing for the Phillies in Sixto Sanchez, who's going to make it really – they're going to be a really fun team to watch every 5 games because Sixto Sanchez is legit, and I highly recommend tuning into Marlins games when he pitches. But you got to figure some of the guys behind him and they have money to spend if they want to go out and get a guy at some point. But they have some talent in their minors. I think they're going to win more games than people think. So the Miami Marlins are my surprise team for better, not worse.
All right.
In the National League.
There you go. Then we go to the World Series, Sean. We look all the way out into this coming fall. And I put over this Padres team big time. And I think the money that they spent, the way that they spent it, they were a team that put runs on the board. And I think they're going to learn lessons from not winning it all a year ago. And I think they're going to find a way to do it. I think they're going to win the World Series. And I think they're going to do it. I like this Twins team. I think that Central Division arguably maybe is the best in the American League. So you're going to be kind of baptized by fire coming out of it. So I like the San Diego Padres over the Minnesota Twins. I'll go 6 games. I think it'll be a good series. But I like the Padres as your 2021 World Series champion.
It's hard to go 2 years back-to-back for me without putting the Yankees at least in the World Series. But I'm going to do it because, fuck the Yankees. I don't know. There's really no reason why I wouldn't put the Yankees in there. It's like they spend the most money. They're in the best scenario, and they have the most fans. Just put them in. But, again, fuck the Yankees. I'm with you on the Padres. I think the Padres sneak their way in the National League. I think it's going to be a closer playoff run. I feel like the Padres are going to they're going to tire themselves out a little bit. I think they're going to have to go through some things, especially with the Phillies in the NLCS. That was a just backdoor predictor right there. But I have them in the World Series playing against the other West team I have in from the AL, the Houston Astros, even though they're kind of going to go through a trial by fire to get in, at least according to all the professionals. They're going to have to deal with the, we like the A's, we like the Angels. I think the Astros are kind of the cream of the crop there, and I think the Astros are, once they get to the playoffs, they're going to have something to prove. Sans any kind of cheating scandal, they're going to be like, look, we're still great. And I think they're going to prove it. I actually have the Astros in my prediction beating the Padres in 6 games.
Huddle Up Podcast is sponsored by Arena Eats. Log on to the website arenaeats.app, that's arenaeats.app, for the ultimate fan experience. At your favorite sports venue, Arena Eats mobile app, pre-order, express pickup, and in-seat delivery. How do you place your order?